Welcome back to Ethics in Action, where we dive into the key principles that guide realtors in their professional lives. Hi, I'm Lisa Alexander, and with me is my co-host, John Smith.
Thank you, Lisa. Hey, everyone. Today, we're continuing our series on the Realtor Code of Ethics by focusing on Article 2. This article talks about basically disclosure, or rather making sure we're not misrepresenting facts about a property.
Exactly. Article 2 states that realtors shall avoid exaggeration, misrepresentation, or concealment of pertinent facts relating to the property or the transaction. That means being honest about what we know and sometimes what we should know.
So, why does this matter? Well, real estate transactions involve significant investments, often the biggest ones people make in their lives. If a buyer and seller gets misleading information, it can lead to a financial loss. It can lead to legal trouble and a damaged reputation for the agent.
Right, and it's not just about what we say, it's also about what we don't say if we know a material fact about a property that could affect its value or desirability. We have an ethical duty to disclose it. And in South Carolina, we are fortunate to have a state government provided form called the Residential Property Disclosure Statement, also known as the seller disclosure. This form allows sellers to truthfully disclose their property's condition to potential buyers. Properly using this form can help provide statutory and case law protections to sellers and realtors involved in the transaction. Against a post-closing buyer's lawsuit regarding known but undisclosed property defects. Let's go through a couple real-world scenarios where Article 2 comes to play. Scenario number 1, the roof that just needs a little work. A realtor is listing a home and the seller tells them the roof has had some issues but says it's nothing major, and the agent, not wanting to scare off buyers, describes the roof as recently maintained. A buyer moves in and finds out the roof has leaks everywhere and needs a full replacement. What went wrong?
Well, the agent misrepresented a material fact. Even if they didn't outright lie, using vague or misleading language about a significant defect violates Article 2. The right thing to do would have been to disclose the roof issues and suggest the seller get an inspection before listing the house.
Absolutely. Scenario number 2, the flood zone surprise. Here's another one. An agent is selling a beautiful home, but it's in a flood zone. The buyer asks if there are any risks, and instead of being upfront, the agent downplays it, saying, "I've never heard of any flooding here."
Well, that's a problem. If the home is in a designated flood zone, that's a pertinent fact that must be disclosed, even if the agent hasn't personally seen the flooding themselves. They have a responsibility to know and to communicate critical details like this. In our market, it can be found on our MLS tax integration.
Scenario number 3, the updated HVAC. A seller tells their agent that the HVAC system is new, and the agent lists the home as having an updated HVAC, but later the buyer finds out that new meant 10 years ago.
Yeah, that's a clear misrepresentation. Even if the agent wasn't absolutely clear or intentionally trying to deceive, they should have verified the details before making that claim. A simple request for documentation could have prevented a lot of headaches.
How to stay ethical. So, how do realtors make sure they are following Article 2?
Well, first, Lisa, verify before you amplify. If you're making a claim about a property, double check the facts.
And second, when in doubt, disclose. It's always better to be upfront than risk misleading a client.
Absolutely. And finally, educate your sellers. make sure they understand that full disclosure protects everyone. Hiding defects might help sell a home faster, but it can backfire legally and ethically.
So at the end of the day, honesty builds trust. Following Article 2 isn't just about avoiding trouble, it's about protecting clients and maintaining our integrity as realtors.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for joining us today. If you found this article to be helpful, be sure to subscribe and share it with your fellow realtors. We'll see you next time for another deep dive into the Code of Ethics.
Until then, keep it ethical.